Good day. Welcome to today's training. My name is Lerato Lebogo, and I will be taking you through payroll processing and ESS setup. Okay, so to begin with, in our payroll processing, the first steps that you do is creating a company and then creating a payroll cycle, assigning that cycle to your employees, taking you through payslip processing and how to do a pay period update. Then I'll take you through how to just set up an ESS and take you through our ESS. So to begin with, to create a cycle, you go under company settings, then you go under company. Right, under company, you'll see there's payroll setup. So your payroll setup is basically you telling the system when is your first month's processing or when you'd like to begin processing in Palladium payroll. So if you're doing this year or processing from this year, the tax year will always be 2023. But as you can see, we have previous tax years as well that you can reprocess for should you wish. So if you select tax year as 2023, you click add. And then you can give your cycle a name. Then we have these three cycles. We have your monthly cycle, your weekly cycle, and your fortnightly cycle that you can select and process for. And then you'll select your first cycle end date, which is your first period processing period. So if it's for your weekly, you'll select your first week. If it's your monthly, you'll select your first month. And then if it's fortnight, then you'll select your first fortnight and click add. So when you click add, if you've got all three set up, you'll see all three set up. If you've just got one cycle, you'll only see one cycle. Then you'll see the cycle type, what the cycle end date is. Then you'll see these actions where you can edit, but you won't be able to edit or delete the cycle if you've assigned and processed to employees. Okay, so this is just how you set up a cycle in payroll. For you to be able to assign it to the employees to just say if an employee is paid either monthly, fortnightly, or weekly. Okay, so to assign it to the employees, you go to employees. And then under employees, you will see all your list of employees. You just double click on the name to open up their master file. Once you've opened up the master file, you click under work information where it has the employee's payslip details. So what you'll find there is the start date where you'll just have the employee start date. You just enter where what the employee's department is and designation is, what the cycle type is. So under cycle type now is where you actually now assign the cycle to the employees, which is the payroll setup, the pay cycle that you've just created. Right, so if you give a click there, you'll see all the cycles, whether monthly, weekly, or fortnightly, depending on what you have set up. And then you'll select which one you want to select or use to that particular employee and say whether that employee is a monthly, weekly, or fortnightly paid employee. If you have not created a cycle, you will not have these options. So you just have to ensure that you have all this information. And then after you've selected the cycle type, you'll see under this basic salary wage information where you'll just now enter the monthly salary or weekly salary or fortnightly salary, depending on what the cycle type is. So you'll see if it's a monthly paid employee, you'll see a monthly salary. If it's a weekly paid employee, you'll see weekly salary. And as a fortnightly employee, you will see fortnightly salary where you just enter how much they get paid for that cycle. Then you can select if they work from a Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday. You're more than welcome to change the rates per hour, rates per day in order to for the system to calculate the monthly salary or the annual salary. It can work either or. So every time you change it to a Monday to Saturday, as you can see, it just adjusts the rate per day and rate per hours. As you see there, and also every time you change the hours per week or hours per day, it also just adjusts the rates per hour. So it gives you liberty to just arrange your hours for the employee so that it can give you an accurate salary for that pay cycle. So once you've done that, you've created the work information where you have the start date, you've assigned the cycle, you've given the wage information, and then you click update. So once that updates, it goes straight to the payslip where you'll see the salary information. So we'll go to payroll processing, where we will begin with the payroll processing. Right, so on payroll processing, you've created your cycle, you've assigned the cycle to the employee, now you're ready to do the payslip. So on the payslip, you'll select your cycle. So again, it's either you have just monthly or all three, monthly, weekly, fortnightly. So you'll select which one you are doing the payroll for. So if you select monthly, you'll either find unprocessed, processed, terminated, or on leave. So if your payslips are not if your payslips are not processed, you'll find them under unprocessed, right? And then if they are processed, you'll find them under processed, right? So either or, whether you find them under unprocessed or processed, depending on whether you have processed the payslip or not, you'll find them under those options. And then you just double click on that employee's name. Right. So once you've done that as well, you'll see when you've entered the employee's basic salary, it will automatically reflect here as you see it here. Right. So the main or your standard transactions, such as your basic salary, your tax, your UIF, ACL and UIF will always be here as your standard mandatory transactions. Right. So if you've entered a basic salary or weekly wage or a fortnightly wage in the employee's master file, it will automatically reflect here, and it will automatically now calculate your tax and UIF as well as your SDL and UIF. Okay, so under your income tab, you'll see that we have quite a few transactions that you can add. So we've got your overtimes that you can add. Then if you click under add income, then we've got all these transactions that you can now add as incomes in your payslip or the employee's payslip. So we do have quite a variety of transactions, such as your commissions, your overtimes, your subsistence, your travel allowances. So you can enter any of that and then enter the amount and just add on to the payslip, right? So all the transactions will be added there and will obviously calculate on tax depending on the transaction you are adding. Then we've got your tax where you'll see the tax there with the amount. But if you want to see the tax calculation itself, you click on PYE, then you'll be able to see how tax is calculated, what is suggested as taxable income. You also see your annualized remuneration, your periodic earnings, as well as year-to-dates for any of these transactions. And then at the bottom there, you'll see basically your tax amount after it has also calculated using your tax rebates, your tax tables, which tax table you belong to, your rebate, your medical aid tax credits if you do have, and then it will give you the final amount for your tax amount. Then you've got your UIF that will show you your UIF income as well as the UIF amount. This also goes for your company contribution and your fringe benefits. And then under each tab, you'll be able to see that you can still add more transactions if you want to add any fringe benefits, any company contributions we do have under there. And under deductions, we do have any other transactions that you may want to add under deductions. Then we've got a leave tab. On the leave tab, this is where you can process leave, transactional leave for this particular employee. So as you do so, you click on add leave, you select the leave type, you select the date from to date to. So this is transactional leave to actually say the employee will be going on leave from this date to this date, and it will show you your due dates for this employee and then the total days, and you can add a comment. So this is where you'll process leave, transactional leave, and you can add more leave if you want to. You can also backdate leave if you want to, so that it just adjusts the due days accordingly. Okay, so if there is overdue leave, if there is duplication of leave, the system will be able to recognize it and will tell you to correct the leave details, right? So there is no chance of you getting any duplicated leave, particularly for this December period that's coming up. And then we've got your leave history where you can actually see for this particular employee when leave was taken, and how many leave, the leave duration, and the status of the leave. So on our ESS, as well as an employee applies for leave and the leave has been approved, the leave will automatically be here. And then you can automatically, well, you can just process the leave. The leave will automatically appear only if it has been approved. If it has not been approved, the leave will not be here. Right? So before you click process as well, the system will let you know to check the leave detail, and you can check it, then process the payslip. Okay, on this screen as well, we've got your rate per hour shown there. We've got the number of days worked that you can actually adjust as well to actual days worked, for this employee. Then it will show you the processing period that you're currently in, and you can end employment to terminate an employee here. And you can select a termination date. You can pay out leave should you want to. So that's an automatic calculation depending on the BCEA leave, if you are using it, or based on just the due days, as well as the reason for termination. So once you've done that, you click save. And anytime you're done with the payslip, you click process, and then it will give you an overview of how the payslip looks, even though that's not the actual payslip. So it will just show you your basic salary, what you've processed, what the total earnings is, what the total deductions are, the net pay, as well as your company contributions, and basically just showing you how the payslip will look. So once you're done there, you save the payslip, and then you're done processing a payslip. And that is how you just process a payslip for employees on Palladium Payroll. Okay, so once you've processed the payslip as well, when you go back to payroll cycle, you'll find the employee under processed. If an employee has been terminated, you'll still find the employee under terminated, where this now will just change to reinstate, and you can reinstate the employee, right? And continue processing the employee. All right. So as we go to pay period update, on the pay period update screen, this is now when you're ready to move over to the next week or the next month or fortnight. And also you can email or print payslips from this screen. So when you click pay period update, you click payroll cycle, the cycle that you're going to do the period update for, which processing period you want to view. So on the screen, as mentioned, this is where you can actually view your payslips. Right, so it will show you all your employees with a tick under process. If there's not a tick on processed, it would mean that a payslip has not been processed, therefore you will not be able to do a period update. Right, so what happens is sometimes as you terminate an employee, you still forget to still process that payslip, even though you're backdating the termination date. You just always have to process the payslip. Right, so if you don't see a tick there, you won't be able to do a period update. So you go back and you just check if you've processed this payslip. Then on the next column, we have preview payslips, where you can view the payslips. So if you click there, you will be able to view the payslip, and this is how it looks. So we've got 3 types of payslips that you can use, but this is our standard traditional one that will be your automatic one as you join Palladium Payroll or use Palladium Payroll, where it shows you the employee code, the employee name, the start date, pay frequency, pay period, pay date, what the rate per hour is, the address, department, and the job title. Then we've got your gross income, which is your basic salary, your overtime, then all your deductions, then all your company contributions, and you're able to see your fringe benefits and what is now payable to the employee himself. And you'll also be able to see the leave balances and also the year-to-date totals. Okay, so this is how the payslip looks, and you can always just export it to PDF should you want to, so that you can save it. But what you can also do is send an email, particularly to the employees if you want to. Only if they have email addresses, they were able to receive the payslip by email, or you can just send them to one person who's the company representative, and that is set up as you create the company, and that the company representative will be able to receive all the payslips and maybe send them out when ready. Okay, so there's two options to emailing the payslips. Then you can then print the payslip. So also as you email the payslip, you click there on email payslip and then you send email. Otherwise, if you just say send email, you will not be able to send the email. So you just always have to select print all or just print one or two. And you can print or send email for previous periods payslips. So even with previous financial years, these dates will always be available where you'll always have the payslip ready if you need to view it or to print or to send an email. So once you've done that, you click on period update, and now that's when you're ready to go to the next period. And you will say, are you sure you want to update the period? You click OK, and then you're on to the next period. Okay, so we've done your employees with assigning the payroll, the pay cycle. We've gone through the payslip processing, done through pay period update, and I'm going to take you through our reports. Okay, so on our reports, we've got statutory reports where you've got your UIF export. So this is the export that you obviously use for your UIF on a monthly basis. So also that's available for any other period if you needed to. Then we've got then we've got your EMP 201. We've got your EMP 201, and our EMP 201 also has your ETI if you make use of ETI and you have clearly stated that you make use of ETI in the system. Then you've got your OID report for your yearly OID report reporting, Then we've got your IRP5 electronic certificate. So submission time, you can make use of our IRP5 electronic certificate, which is the import that you import into EasyFile or e-filing, and then you can do your submission then. Then you've got your EMP 501 that you can use as well for your submissions. And then we've got the payroll reports. So on our payroll reports, we've got the bank export. So the bank export is the bank or the bank file that you can actually use to now pay your employees. And these are the banks that we currently do make use of, as well as need cash. So what happens now, you just select the bank that you use as your internet banking. You select which cycle you're ready to pay for. It's always for the current period. It'll show you your processing period. You can then select which employees you want to pay, but automatically it will select all the employees, and then you can click generate. So as you click generate, it will show you a screen where it has the employee name, code and name, and it will show you the employee's account name, account number, and the branch code again for you just to confirm if that's correct. Then it will show you your amount, which is the net pay for the employees, and it will say either process yes or no. So also on the screen, you can still select if you want to pay certain employees or not. Then you confirm this information before downloading. So when you download it, it creates a little file that you now can import into your APSA or your Standard Bank or your FNB and pay your employees from there. Okay. Then we've got your monthly reconciliation that we use on a monthly basis as well as the payroll summary. Then we've got the net pay report, which is basically just your bank file. But just for you to see, it just makes it easier for you to exactly see what is in the bank export file. So this is just the report again, same as the previous screen like I've shown you, where it shows the employee name, the pay method, which is electronic transfer or cash, then the bank name, account number, branch code, and the net pay. So if you've got different departments, it will show this report by department and total it up by department. But at the bottom, you will see it will just total all the net pay amount and sum it up into one, or sum it up into each payment type. Right. So I do assume that this is exactly what is in the bank export file, just in a report format that you can use. Okay, then we've got your UIF report, we've got a transaction report, and then we've got pay slips. As you see here on the very same screen as a pay period update, you can still select your pay slips and view them for previous years. And as I said, we've got 3 different layouts, which is traditional, contemporary, and confidential. So at any time you can change how you want your pay slips to print out. Then you can still send your email and print the pay slips, and you'll find that information here. Okay, then we've got on our leave reports, leave processing, where you can view the leave by transaction date. Then you've got your leave transaction day, leave transaction report, where you can view the reports and it will actually show you the due days, right? Then you can select from which day to which day. I'm not sure if it will allow me, but for today's training, I'm just going to select any date and just generate and show you how the report looks. So on our report, it will look like this, where it shows you the employee name, type of leave, the opening balance, days accrued, days taken, days due, and the leave entitlement. And it will show you when the employee took leave for how many days, as well as the dates. And you can also export this file to Excel or PDF should you wish to. Okay, so yes, we're done with the payroll processing. I'll just go through the ESS. So on our ESS, how to set it up, you go to the employees master file. Then on the employees master file, you'll see there is a tab for employee self-service. And on self-service, you click the employee self-service. So because I've already set up for most of my employees, what normally happens as a first-time setup is it will prompt you to use a certain, create an email address the employee can use to log in, as well as create a password and confirm the password. So once you've created those, you give them to the employee and you'll not have that option anymore except to reset if the employee has forgotten their details. So you'll set that up for them, and then the access role will always be employee. Then you'll give them rights to actually just apply for leave, view payslips, and manage their leave as you see them there. And then you can have approval group. So you can have your employee manager. So if this employee is the manager, then you can select which employees fall under this employee as a manager, so that when they do apply for leave, Deborah can be the one to either approve or decline the leave. Then you can have a second approval as well in case Deborah is not around to approve the leave as a second approval. And that's all you need to do as a setup for ESS, right? So once you've set that up, what your employees will do is they'll probably get a link, which is the very same screen as you see here. They'll enter the email address, enter the password, and when they log in, they'll be able to log in as employee. So they will not be able to see your super admin or your admin, so they'll be employees, right? Then it will show you them names, and this is our calendar, and this is basically the workspace. So on our calendar, it will show birthdays, it will show any employees that are on leave, and then they can also enter any event title they may want to. So they'll be able to apply for leave here, view for payslips, view their personal details, view their leave report, and their leave balances. So it's very important that as you set it up, everything is correct, because what you've set up on their master files is exactly what they'll see on the ESS. So as you see here on apply for leave, so as they apply for leave, they'll click on apply for leave. And if they've applied for leave before, you'll be able to see it here, right? If the leave has not been approved, it will say cancelled, right? So also here, they'll be able to view their leave balances. So for annual leave, for instance, they can click their leave tab as annual leave and check balance, and they'll be able to see what their leave balances are. They can also project their leave. So as December time is coming, they'll be able to just pick up that at the end of a certain period, how many leave days will I have? And for any type of leave, right? Then to apply for leave, they're going to click on add leave. They will click on and they'll select any leave type, then select the start date, the end date for the leave, the reason, the duration will always be there, and the requested date, which will always be on the date that they actually apply for leave, and save it. So once it's being saved, the manager who has been assigned to approve for leave will receive an email to say, this employee has applied for leave, please log in and approve for leave, and approve the leave, and they'll then be able to approve the leave, right? And on this screen as well, they'll be able to view their payslips. So as you see there, there's payslips that they can view. So the payslips will only be uploaded to ESS as you do a period update. So if you're in the very same current period, they will not be able to receive their payslips on ESS unless if you email it to them. But they'll only upload to ESS as you do a period update, because that's when now you've locked the cycle and you're in the new period. Then they'll get the payslips. Right, so they're able to generate the payslip or email the payslip to themselves as well. Okay, then they're able to again view their personal details. So they'll be able to view their personal details, payment information, tax information, and they'll be able to add any documents on the ESS. And then we've got the leave report that they can actually view and print for themselves as well if they need to. And this will always be for them and no one else. And they'll also be able to check their leave balances as well on the screen to see for each leave how many days they have due and their leave entitlements, how many days they've taken and days accrued. So if any changes happen on ESS, for instance, if an employee has applied for leave, the leave has been approved, it goes straight over to the admin screen where the admin user now will need to process the leave. So any changes or anything that happens on ESS will alert the manager that there's a change or there's leave that has been applied for, and they'll be able to know exactly what has happened in their ESS. Okay, now to go back to the main screen. Okay, so yes, we've come to the end of our session today, but also on just our work screen, you can again create as many companies as you may like. As you see them, or create a company for each cycle if you may want to. Basically, it will show you your payroll cycle that you're currently in, the date and the number of employees that belong to this particular cycle. And it will show you your total active employees. It will show you your processed employees or unprocessed employees. It will show you employees that are on leave and terminated employees as well. This is your calendar as well as your payroll cycle summary, where it will only after processing employees will show you your total for company contribution, your total for benefits, your total for deductions, as well as your total for your net pay. Okay, so we've come at the end of our session today. I don't know if there are any questions. If there are any questions, please leave them on the chat, and then I'll answer them. Okay, I'm glad there are no questions. I hope I was as clear as I could possibly be. Okay, there is one question. There it is. We are working on payroll at the moment. We are working on payroll for Zimbabwe and Zambia. So I do believe our next project is in Kenya, but not as yet. But we are now flourishing to other countries here in Africa, and I do assume that it will be ready by the end of the year or early next year. Thank you. So even if it's in Kenya, the only thing I think with the new update, I think that's coming up is just the currency. Otherwise, it will still work the same. Everything will still work the same, except of course the reporting will just be a bit different, but everything will still work the same. It's just that you'll just select the correct currency for your country. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great day further. Please join me again next week, Tuesday. I will be doing training on the same topic, I believe, or on ESS. So it would be great to join me and get more information on our Palladium payroll. But for now, thank you so much and enjoy the rest of the day.